Hey everyone, Sofian here from the ADR team in Dublin, and just want to create a quick video on some of the best practices around the use of ring lead capture. For those of you who don't know, ring lead capture is a tool that we use to import leads or contacts from LinkedIn Sales Navigator or LinkedIn into SFDC, which is great because doing this manually is very time consuming and takes up a lot of effort. So having a tool that can automate this process or almost automate this process, make it a lot quicker, is very handy. However, we need to be careful that we're not creating duplicates and or importing incorrect data into Salesforce, so that we keep the data in our CRM as tidy and up to date as possible. So you can see from the button here that most of these are already in Salesforce, and you can access the record by simply clicking there to check the existing record in SFDC. So head of indirect, email address, everything seems to be correct. So it is actually a duplicate. But let's assume for a minute that he'd been promoted and the title had changed, for example, or that he'd moved to a different company and the Salesforce record here said head of indirect procurement at Vodafone, for example, but he's moved to 3. And we want to update that. Rather than importing and creating a new lead, we can easily update this information on the existing record, which avoids creating a duplicate. So one easy way to do this is to go in here. You can see it's surfaced the duplicate. Only one. Another issue you may notice when using ring lead capture is that it bases duplication on the first and last name. So for somebody with a more common name like John Smith, you might find 10, 12 duplicate records. It's important to check that it's actually the same person with the same title and company. And if not, hit not duplicate and import the person as normal. But in this case, it is a duplicate, and let's assume that it's somebody who's changed company or changed title, and you just want to update that record. What you need to do first is hit enrich, so that it pulls out the data, like the email, phone number for the headquarters, and the address. So there we go, that's done. Once you have all the information there, you want to check so the work address and the headquarter address. A lot of the time, you'll notice that the headquarters HQ location that it pulls doesn't match the one that the actual headquarter location, because it bases that off of the person's office address. So there's one easy way to update that as well, and I'll show you how. So what you want to do here is update record, and it will pull the information from both of them. So for example, let's change this to this. I'd simply click into the captured information rather than the information that's already in Salesforce, but I'm not going to do that in this case. The email is the same, the address is different, and then you can see here the title is also the same. So once you've selected the information you want to update, you hit update, and it will say the merger is successful. Would you like to delete this contract from capture? You just hit OK and you're done. And it will have updated the record in Salesforce, which is what important. So just to go back one instant on what I mentioned on the headquarters location, you can see here that it was different. I'll hit enrich again just so you can see it. When you're importing into contacts, it's especially important to have the right headquarter location, just so that that information is accurate in as much as possible in SFDC. So the easy way to do this would be to take the one that you have here on LinkedIn, for example, or on the website, and copy it. And then before you import into Capture, hit edit, and look at the address here. So the HQ address, and add it. So it's going to take a little while. Berkshire. First, we can take here. And United Kingdom is fine. Example on how you can do this very easily, just to make sure that you have the correct information, and save. So you can see it's been updated here, and you have the correct HQ location now. And when you have, obviously you're not going to do this one by one. So when you're doing this for a number of contacts in an account, the easiest way is to capture a number of them. So let's go back in here very quickly, select a few. Just add the fact that a lot of people in procurement very quickly. And just for the sake of this exercise, capture a few more. There you go, just a couple will do. So you wouldn't have to do this one by one, obviously, but you can simply go in here, select all of them, and then edit the top one. And when you make a change on the top one, it should affect all the records below. So let's go back here and edit the website, for example. Just as an example here, let's say it was 3.com, and I wanted to update that on all the records. If I hit save here, you can see that it's changed the website for all 3 records, and the same is true for the headquarter location. So it's an easy way to do this for all the records, and make sure that when you're importing contacts into into SFTC, into an account in SFTC, especially, that you have the correct headquarter location to keep the data neat. That's pretty much it. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions around this, feel free to reach out at any stage. I'm more than happy to go over this with you. Thanks.